Cody, there are 4 lessons that we have from the most recent in-person Active Life seminar that took place a couple weeks ago that I believe are worth reviewing and considering, that I'm sure to some people might seem something you say to yourself every day, and others it might not be something you've considered before. And whether or not we're talking about anyone participating in this education or not, there are things that as a fitness practitioner are undoubtedly going to improve your work, the way that you feel about yourself, and what your clients are capable of gaining in their lives and the people they care about if you consider these 4 things. And these are 4 takeaways that we got just from this last in-person weekend together with people from all over the world. Mm-hmm. What's the first one?
The first one is good enough is the enemy of great.
What does that mean to you?
We saw on multiple instances over the weekend, there were cognitive shifts in people where they're like, oh, I was doing this thing this way, and I had kind of assumed that I was doing a good enough job. And then they get surrounded by other professionals and practitioners doing the thing, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
So 95% is actually not good enough. And if I rest on laurels at 95%, it's good enough. You're never able to get that extra 5%. And really, for a lot of professionals, trainers, coaches, practitioners, that 5% becomes a key differentiator in the marketplace for you. Mm-hmm. So really internalizing this. There are some times when good is okay, especially based on your path and your development and your history as a coach trainer. But there's a difference between like, this is good for now, and it's not as good as it could be, and saying, you know what, this is good enough.
I think it's important for us to be able to distinguish between not being a perfectionist and allowing yourself to move forward because done is better than perfect, with the long-term goal of I'm shooting for perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect right now for me to do something, but the goal is let's be as great as could possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Ambitions towards perfection. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. I haven't either.
There's no perfect. I don't think we ever actually get there. We never, like, once you get to the top of the mountain, you see the other peaks that are available to you.
The thing that's very grounding for me here is I know that there's at least one personal trainer or coach that's listening to this who has dealt with in the past, unless you were just dropped into a golden situation, who has dealt with the frustration of at some point not being taken as seriously as you'd want to have been, not making the kind of money that you would like to have made, and not creating the kind of result for a person that you would have liked to. One of those things for someone at some point. The reason that problem exists is the reason that we're all talking about getting together here and being as great as you can possibly be. Because when we think about this as a collective, a very powerful way to think about this for me is, and you should be proud of your profession and you should expect others in your profession to hold themselves to a high standard. We are measured by the worst of us. So if someone has a bad experience with someone who calls himself the same thing that you do, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. So whether that's coach or personal trainer or physical therapist or surgeon, it doesn't matter. Someone has a bad experience, you are lower in someone's eyes when their personal experience has been a negative one. Mm-hmm. There are biases and there are assumptions that they're making about you, even if you didn't deserve it or didn't do anything to earn it. You now need to position yourself against someone who's betting that you're like that other bad experience in some way. And that sucks for you and for the person, because you might be able to actually help them. The fact that we are all going to be judged by the worst of us helps us realize I'm not going to be the worst. That's where I go anyways. It's not going to be me, right? So if we all have that attitude, think about what happens to the entire profession, the entire set of outcomes, and what looks different in the world. Like, think about how many dollars no longer need to go to bullshit all the time for solutions that could be provided consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, to your point there, I'm sure everyone has had this experience, whether it be in whatever industry it is. And I'm going to bring this up only because on a recent discovery call, I had this. Somebody spoke about an experience that they had with a healthcare practitioner. And they're like, I'm never using that modality again because of that negative experience that I had.
There we go.
So to your point, often the social perception falls to the lowest common denominator. It doesn't go to the best.
Yeah, so the point is, don't let yourself be the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
Seek to be in the top 10%.
Excellent rather than good enough. The second lesson that came up from this was everyone has an opportunity to improve. You know, we had legacy ALPs. And so someone who had been with us for 2 years, been through the curriculum, and I had a very specific experience where I gave him coaching, cueing, correcting, and feedback on delivering an assessment that I imagine he's delivered hundreds of times. There was an opportunity to improve there. And we were only able to notice that because we were in person. And obviously being open to feedback. But everyone has an opportunity to improve. And if it's, again, we're talking about that 5%. If that takes it up 0.5 or 1%, this now puts him in a category of 1 compared to the marketplace because it's just that much better.
So identifying what are the places that I am obviously strong and what are the places that I feel I'm not so confident talking about this openly. Place your attention there.
Even the areas that you're strong, you know, go back to the first principle that we discussed. Where is there an opportunity for this to be even better? Right? Stay open to feedback. The growth mindset. There's always an opportunity for improvement or advancement, and even if it's that very small thing.
I'm thinking about people that I've seen in the past feel overwhelmed by how much they don't know yet and how they are now compared to how they would like to fancy themselves as feel as a practitioner. What do you start? Where does your brain go with them? What kind of questions do you ask, or what would you want to say?
Well, I think the first thing that you started talking about in this is find the one thing. What's the one thing? And often it's what's the one thing that has the highest point of leverage for you that you can improve in whatever area it is, and go all in on improving that thing. Like Sean used the example at the seminar of the balloons, right? You take 5 balloons, you put them in your mouth to try to blow them all up at the same time. You end up blowing up no balloons. But if you take them one at a time and with intention and practice, you blow up one balloon. Once it's done, you move on to the next one. That's where my mind goes. Find the thing that you have the greatest area of opportunity to improve in, your highest point of leverage. Go all in on that thing.
Understood.
What about you?
No, I think that's helpful. I wasn't sure. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with people like that all the time, but I just wanted to know the first thing that came to your mind when you think about people who feel overwhelmed by it. And I think that one thing at a time is an extremely helpful mindset that frankly has taken me longer than maybe many other people to develop, because I'm someone who does want to do it all at the same time. And I have felt defeated and deflated in the past when I haven't been great at something right away. And so I was curious where your brain goes with that. I think that's appropriate because I've found success there, and that's been very helpful to me in just doing one thing well for a while. And then it becomes easier, and then you can focus on the next thing.
Yeah. Well, identifying the one thing is the first step. The second and more important step is the action taken in alignment.
Doing it.
Yeah, it's doing it because the anxiety that we often feel about wanting to improve in all of those areas continues to come from inaction. It's the paralysis by analysis, where if we start moving, we often see improvement. We start to feel better. We start to get some data, some evidence.
There's something about keep moving that is just so magical, and it really gives you a lot of freedom and a lot of power. There's a lot of lubrication, and it really allows a lot of anxiety to kind of fall off of you and slip by the wayside. To just keep moving and just do the next right thing. It's just, if you could offer yourself anything, that might help you get through that.
It reminds me of Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Nice.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that in a long time.
Third principle. Often, especially as we continue to advance in our education, we begin to major in the minors. We focus on the top of the pyramid. If we're going our hierarchy of needs, we're focusing on the skill and motor control thing, or in our development, we're focusing on, and we forget the basics and the foundational stuff. We talked about this with the team at Long Beach. You know, we've got clients who are training with us 3 to 5 times a week. And one of the questions of the day that they asked during the Ascend session was, how many of you are drinking between 80 and 100 ounces of water a day? Blanket recommendation. I get it. Raise your hands. Of the 9 people that were in there, including the one-on-one session, one of them had raised their hand. We sometimes, and very often in this space of fitness, we get so caught in the next shiny object. How is the diaphragm moving compared to the pelvic floor when we're going through flexion? If they don't have good basic principles of recovery and capacity, I don't know that is the highest leverage point for you to be coaching them.
Well, I was going to ask you, what's the difference between majoring in the minors and getting 0.5% better in the way that you were talking about from 95 to 95.5%? But it sounds like what you're talking about is you can become 0.5% better in big basic categories that take things a very long way. I follow.
Yeah, the big basic things to that point is coming back to those basic principles of stress, diet, and sleep, and continually bringing those up rather than delivering the education and then just assuming that your clients are on track with that. That is the 0.5% that can make the difference. It's the consistency, it's the follow-up, it's the constant education around this. It's the holding the client to the thing and helping them become the type of person that they said that they want. And look, if you're not sleeping well, if you're overstressed, if you're not eating well, none of this movement stuff is going to work out for you on a long enough timeline. You're going to hit, we go back to supercompensation, right? We end up falling down into dysfunction and disrepair.
Makes sense.
So the majoring and the minors piece is you can be looking at how does the knee, to what angle does the knee need to go over the toe in a squat? Easy example, right? Or you can look at in the very beginning, okay, what is their flexibility and mobility? What actual range of motion do they have to be able to access this? Rather than saying, blanket rag, everybody needs to be able to get their knees over their toes. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
That's the majoring and the minors piece.
Okay. What's the next one?
The last one is iron sharpens iron.
There's something that's really special when you put yourself in a room with structured time to do nothing other than hone your craft and be around other people that are all trying to get better and looking at the same problem with critical eyes and bringing your take on it compared to someone else's take and getting more and more and more perfect and effective because you can put together and integrate everyone's take on the same problem. Whether this or anywhere else, I think that any practitioner who is not creating regular structured time to be in a place to get better, you're forfeiting a lot of opportunity for you to make your whole life easier.
We're a digital company in a digital age, and there is something so powerful about the speed of adaptation, implementation, and growth that happens by being in person. So what you're talking about is, look, good, better, best, right? It's good, and it might be even better to be in a digital environment working with people, but any opportunity that you have to get in person with someone, a fellow professional, a practitioner,
For sure.
that can accelerate your growth and learning.
Especially if you're interested in staying ahead of AI replacing your job.
Yeah,
It's true, man.
it is.
Like there's qualitative stuff that happens in person that AI is not replacing tomorrow. And if you can start to practice that, it's helpful. And if that's best, then you doing it digitally in a way that there can be something qualitative that's explored and exchanged. That's really valuable stuff.
Yeah. Anything else that you can think of around this principle of iron sharpens iron? I mean, look, A players want to work with A players.
It's true. I think that the one thing that come up for me is that you need to be in a position where you are ready to give critical feedback when you see that it's due, which is hard for people, and that you are ready to receive critical feedback from people when they believe it's due. That's also hard for people. So whichever one is the harder one for you, put yourself in a position to do more of that thing. And if you can get over those fears and those apprehensions, no one's here because they want to be worse. Like better is better. Better is awesome. It's awesome to be better. So go for it.
Yeah. Feedback is not in our environment, and especially at the flagship for the team that we have there. Feedback is never meant to be taken personally. And it's never given with the intention of being a personal assault on your skills or your character, or you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell the team there is, don't take it personally. Negation, acknowledge. Don't take it personally. Take it professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a helpful frame to look at this in, because we all have, I have tremendous amount of opportunity for growth. But if I take feedback from you or the team or from Sean or anybody, and I turn it into a personal thing, I stunt my own growth and development.
I think that's a place that I've stumbled a bunch in the past.
Sure.
Failing to separate those two. I've not done a good job of that historically.
I think that that's true for a lot of us, especially in this space, because, well, for me, I'll speak my truth. A lot of my identity is wrapped up in this. So it's been a challenge, and it's been a constant reminder that this isn't an assault on me.
Yeah. It's hard to walk away from critical feedback and not have a voice whisper or the concern of, well, what does it mean about me that ...
Well, that's the beautiful piece of that, is you get to decide what that means. You get to decide that this means I'm a piece of shit, or this means that I'm on the road to being a better version of whatever I am right now.
Yeah. And I think that if you struggle with that, you sharing that you struggle with that in the same way that I just admitted, I think that you'll 99 out of 100 times, if you're in the right environment, be very pleasantly surprised by how that's received and how good it feels to receive people coming to your side in the admission of that. It's going to feel good.
And if you're by yourself and you're lacking that other person to be able to give you can reframe this yourself. You can write it down. You can write down the feelings that you had about the thing. And then you can say, okay, how do I want to feel about this? What would be good about this? Rewrite that thing in the how I want to feel about it. Because you determine your emotional state. You decide what that information means. So take it and write it down. Work it. Like, play with the squiggles and lines. All words are squiggles and lines that we've assigned meaning to.
And if you're not sure, reach out to us. I enjoy having conversations like this. I know that you do too. You know where to find us. Instagram, email. Just let's talk about it.
Slide into the DMs.
All right. Good work, Cody.
See you out there.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Active Life podcast. If you did, please head to wherever you listen and leave us that 5-star rating. It really does go a long way. 5 stars goes a long way. Please leave them. If you're interested in working with us as a coach, remember, we help coaches from around the world build fulfilling careers, working with clients they're inspired to help, so they never have to worry about being able to pay your bills again. No one's ever going to ask you if you are going to get a real job when you work with Active Life. All you have to do, head into the show notes, click the link that you find there, download our curriculum. That will give you a feel for what it is going to take for you to be successful. A team member of ours will reach out to you to find out if it's a fit for us to work together. Till the next show, turn pro.